Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. As this shows, our today's topic is individual and market demand curve. As the name indicates, individual demand curve refers to demand of a single person, of one individual, and market is since a combination of all the individuals that are willing to buy a certain commodity that make up the market of that commodity. So the demand curve that we will draw for a combination of buyers is known as market demand curve. It will become clear. First we have to understand individual demand curve. Now for individual demand curve we need to have an individual demand schedule or individual demand table. What is a demand schedule or demand table? It is simply a table that we drew earlier, in which one column shows price of a certain commodity and the other column shows quantity demanded of that commodity at that price level. So let's assume this is a price of a shirt in rupees, and here we have quantity demanded per month by an individual. Let's draw a demand schedule for this. So as I told you, we have to take simple numbers. Let's take the price to begin with rupees 100, 120, 140, 160. So I have just imagined that the price of shirt is increasing. So at lower price this person will be demanding greater number of shirts per month. Maybe he's buying for his brother and for his cousins also, and he's also giving gifts to his friends since the shirt is too cheap. So let's say he purchases 5 shirts at this price in a month. When the price rises to rupees 120, he starts purchasing 4. At 140, it becomes a little expensive for him, so he purchases 2, or you can let's write 2. And on 160 rupees price, his demand falls to 1. So basically, this is an individual demand schedule which shows price of a commodity and quantity demanded at each price. Now when we are going to draw this in a form of a graph, we will have demand curve for this individual. Let's call him person A. Okay, so let's have a demand curve for person A. We take price on x-axis and we take quantity demanded on x-axis, and price on y-axis. Now maximum my price goes to rupees 100, so it is not wise to start from 100 and then mark it 120, 140, 160. What will I be doing in that case? If I mark this point as 100 and this one as 120, I am committing some error. This error is that this area shows 100 units and then again a similar area shows 20 units. It becomes technically wrong. So what I can do is I can just draw these two lines to show that we have compressed all the unwanted values over here, and then we can simply proceed. Since there is a gap of 20, so we can take it as it is: 120, 140 and 160. Over here my values start from 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, since they will cover all these values. So let's plot it. When the price was 100, quantity demanded was 5, so we get this point. At price 120, quantity demanded is 4. This is the point. At price 140, quantity demanded is 2. This is the point. At 160, he is demanding 1 shirt. This is the point. So if we join all these points together, we get demand curve for person A. Since we want to show it's a demand curve for person A, it comes, you can label it as DA dash. Okay, so this is individual demand curve. Now let's imagine there are other people, or let's imagine there are altogether 3 people in the market, A, B, C, A, B, C. Okay, so let's make a demand schedule for all of them all together. I hope this table fits here properly and it's visible to you. Let's have price here. I'm mentioning the same price: 100, 120, 140, 160. Now let's say this is quantity demanded by person A. Then we have quantity demanded by person B and quantity demanded by person C. Now of course, don't ever forget to write the units here: rupees, dollars, per month, per week, whatever the demand is. Since my space was short, so I just ignored that. Now I am just going to copy the same demand, since I am consuming that he's one of the person in the market. So 5, 4, 2 and 1. Now let it be some other person B. Now let's assume that he at rupees 100 is willing to buy 8 shirts. Then at rupees 120 he buys 5. At rupees 140 he buys, let's say, 2. And on 160 he just stops buying because maybe it becomes very expensive for him. Let's imagine person C. What is he doing? His behavior can be altogether different. So let's say he was buying 4 shirts at price 100. 120 he was buying let's say 2, and on 140 he was buying 1 shirt, and when the price rose to 160 he kept on purchasing 1 price. Now these are the 3 individuals that we have assumed make up our market. So in order to find market demand, I can label it as small m. Okay, quantity demanded in the market. What am I going to do? I'm simply going to add these quantities demanded horizontally. So 8 and 4, 10, 10 and 5, 15, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2. So this column is my market demand for this shirt. What did I do? To cut it very short, I assumed that there are only 3 people in the market. I drew their hypothetical individual demands, and what did I do? To find out their collective demand or market demand, I just horizontally summed them up. Now I can draw obviously demand curve for person B individually and demand curve for person C individually, but I will not do that since it will take a lot of time and it's just the same method. I will directly jump to drawing market demand for this shirt. So I will take price on my y-axis and quantity demanded of shirts on x-axis. So I can repeat the same procedure: 100, 120, 140, 160. Now over here my minimum value starts from 2 and the maximum goes to 15. I can simply write 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and extend it all the way to 15, or I can take another scale. Over here as much I think this will be okay: 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14 and 16. So on price 100, the total quantity demanded in the market was 15, which is this. On price 120, the total quantity demanded was 11. So 11 lies somewhere between 10 and 12. On 140, 5 number of shirts were demanded. So this is how we trace 5 number of shirts. And on price 160, quantity demanded was only 2. So if we join all these points together, we get our market demand curve, and our market consists of these three people, assumably person A, B and C. And that's about it for individual and market demand curve. Thank you.